The PlayStation 2 had an amazing selection of games, but you'd be surprised how many never made it over to the States. I am the Game Collector, and this is Second Opinion Games. And today I show you some PAL-exclusive games. You know, excluding Japan.
Second Opinion Games.
Akira Psycho Ball is a one-on-one pinball game. Yeah, you heard me. It's like fighting with pinballs. You're trying to reach a high score faster than your opponent, and you can always launch balls at each other. It's like multi-ball all the time, and boy, does it ever get frantic. It also means that trying to get out a good strategy, other than just flipping the flippers as fast as you can and hope that you win, is very difficult. Even though I have a hard time with this game, I can't see why it didn't come over here to the States. There isn't really that much that you have to do to this style game, just push it the heck out. BBC, battle construction vehicles. You know, I grew up in a house where we actually had multiple bulldozers and loaders and backhoes all around, and I often thought, you know, if I would just smash them together and just try to see who would win BattleBot style, I wonder how it would all go down. However, in this game, we can actually see how it controls terribly, and you might be able to play against each other, like swinging a crane around, which actually wouldn't do that much damage at all. No, the bulldozer is gonna win like every freaking time. This game is a lot of fun, even though it is kind of terrible at some spots. There's special moves, and there's a whole storyline that is completely ridiculous. Way to go, Japan, and good job for the PAL area to pick it up. Deadly Strike is one of those beat-em-up games where you take a pretty girl, throw her into an environment, and just kick everyone's butt. The controls are very delayed and a little stiff. The farther you play through the game, though, more things open up, more combos, and the controls actually start to feel natural. However, getting over that hump might be a bit troublesome. Just like Dragon Sisters, where the first level takes 20 minutes of just mindlessly bashing the X button. You can jump up in the air and unleash a fury of attacks, but my god, this is very repetitive. Now, it does actually get good if you sink about 3 hours into the game after you completely grind your character up and get the unlockables to make the game worthwhile. Just are you willing to grind on a couple of sisters that hard? Splatter Master is a much better beat-em-up experience. You play as this kid running through a stage being attacked by demons. You can even rip out chainsaws at some point and just start slashing things down. I strongly believe that this is a spiritual successor to the Splatterhouse series, and I have a lot of evidence here to prove it, including some of the bosses and the fact that you have the chainsaw, of course. And you can even purchase the Splatterhouse mask in the item shop. It takes a lot of money to get there, though, so you're going to probably want to focus on, you know, upgrading your life and maybe even a double jump and some other things along the way. This is a terrific title, and I recommend that everyone that can pick it up does so. Heck, you could even fight evil tractors in this game. You know what? Just killing the undead in general can't really be boring ever. Zombie Attack is a little bit more of a tactical, deeper experience because there are hostages that need saved and a very tight time limit. And you're going to want to explore everywhere because there could be some good power-ups. You play as a cute girl hacking away at zombies and vampires, or whatever these things are that jump around Super Mario Land style at you. Boy, are they ever creepy. But you can't just hack at them and shoot them with your gun. You also have to throw like a playing card at them that has a very small range once they start glowing. Also, you gotta watch your hostages because you don't want them to get eaten or hurt or killed or whatever with that. So the whole game is a bit of a balancing act. You could also balance your weapons themselves as they level up over time. I really enjoy this game, and it never feels like a full-fledged escort mission all the time, even though it kind of is. And you gotta love this era of entertainment in general because they didn't care what type of game it was. They were just like, throw a pretty girl in there. Party Girls is a game where you take beautiful women in bikinis and you make them do, you know, things, like a bunch of little mini games, like bumping their butts against each other and swinging on stuff. I mean, we really don't need this game, but boy, do you ever need to play it because it's actually a lot of fun. Playing with two people once you get past the weirdness of it all might be one of the best competitive games ever. You know, I wonder what this game would be like if the girls just decide to stop playing these games and just start beating each other up. Fighting Angels is here with just a whole bunch of cute girls just beating the crap out of each other. But don't worry, it doesn't get dark or anything. You're just trying to beat them unconscious. Until deadly weapons show up, where then you're told to beat your opponent to death. I don't think this is a good idea at all. The controls are just all over the place. Most of the time, you're better off just running away, running up and sneaking the attack to the person from behind. And that's really not a good way to end a fight. You know what? That's a good way to end a fight. We got to keep moving on here. Project Minerva Professional. Another game with a cute girl, this time with a machine gun that doesn't really work as a real machine gun because they didn't want to make reload animations in this game. You have to reload while looking down the scope of your gun that sometimes doesn't even have a scope. And you have to blow apart different robots because, you know, why not make them robot invaders? There's a lot less blood that way. There's tons of different power-ups. You even have a force fighting with you, and you generally have to protect them. The game itself really isn't that bad, but it is ridiculously tedious, and sometimes the levels go on for way too long. But let's get away from the pretty girls in general, but maybe keep the sniper rifle. Sniper Assault has absolutely no sniper rifles at all. Why did they choose this name for what looks like a generic gallery shooter? Also, it has a ridiculous amount of slowdown where the bullets just come at you in slow-mo. It actually does help you out quite a bit, so you might as well take it when you can get it. There's also different weapons that you can pick up, like a machine gun and even a shotgun. Nothing really feels like it matters that much. You're also going for a high score here, and it just feels bland, cheap, and generic. You also looks like you have Steven Seagal's face in the corner. I guess that's supposed to be your guy? Well, I don't know about that, but maybe Deadeye Jim will change your mind on this game because by looking at it, it seems to be the same exact game, just with a cowboy theme instead of a Steven Seagal one. Oh my god, they put no effort into this. The weapon power-ups are still exactly the same, and the stages even feel the same. You never really see anything too far from what I'm showing you here. This is basically the whole game. If you want to waste some time, well, play this one, or the other one. It's the same game, and your time will be wasted. But this is a retro channel here, and I think we need to go a little bit farther in the past to Hercules Chariot Racing, a Mario Kart clone that isn't really that bad at all, other than the fact that sometimes the power-ups, when they hit you, can completely ruin your day because the controls are just off enough to make it not perfect. The animations of the characters are also quite terrible, but the tracks themselves are very well done, with some pretty sweet graphics, curves, tight corners, and you actually have to have some skill to be able to compete in this arena. It's a good chariot racer, even if it doesn't feel like you're actually using a chariot. Maybe you should play Circus Maximus or some other type of game like Ben-Hur for that. Okay, but I want to play a game that gives me a nostalgic fix, even if it's a game that I've never played before. And for that, I turn to Knight Rider, the game 2. I couldn't wait to hear the Hoff and Mr. Feeney's voice as you race around this car, solving crimes and getting into it. And the voice acting here is not quite there. It is similar enough, though, and they did get the car right. They did put a giant laser on it for certain spots, and it starts really hard right out of the gate, with giant missiles just trying to blow you up, and you have to use your boost to jump over obstacles. This is incredible. As you start playing through the game, different missions and you have to explore and solve crimes open up. And I'm not saying that this is the most perfect action experience. Sometimes there are some stages that slow up and you have to like hack into computer sections that take way too long. But this is still an incredible game that for some reason never came over here to America. Maybe it just stayed in Germany because we all know that saying, that Germans love David Hasselhoff. Before this, I didn't realize how many poor quality to darn right good games never came out here in America, and I, for one, am a little jealous. So I'm gonna keep on collecting for the whole PAL region in general because I'm just scratching the surface, and I really do wish that some of these games I would have got to play back in the day. But of course, that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I had a great time making it, and I am just scratching the surface here because later I want to get into some Japanese games that we never got, and a bit later I want to talk about just some great ones, pulling them both together. So if you want to see some really weird games for the PlayStation 2, well, stick around because we're in for a great and wild ride. Please leave me a comment down below of what games you want to see, and until later, I will see you again, guys.